Opening slide graphic text title, Families Leading Change, Community, with images of Nada O'Dwyer, Maggie Skinner, Justine Hall, Jane Raymond, Jackie Holmes, Anita O'Brien, Fiona Reed. Logos, Belonging Matters and TalksThatMatter.net. Graphic text. Feeling like one belongs to their community is essential. Yet, often people with developmental disabilities only experience moments of community access or separation into special groups. Graphic text. We interviewed families who hold a vision for their son or daughter to contribute and belong to their community.
So my son Brody, he's 30 years old, and some of the roles that he's had in community include being a TAFE student, he's been a musician, a church member and a gym member.
Our daughter is 39 years old. Her name is Diane, and she just loves being in community. She's very social and loves people. She goes to a number of community choirs, which she really enjoys, and she mingles a lot with the neighbours in her community.
Cameron is a 47-year-old man who loves sport, passionate about sport, and he is involved with lots and lots of people who have similar interests to him.
My daughter Emily is 40. She has a passion for craft and is really enjoying making cards and selling these at the local market.
Yeah, Harvey's my second son and he's 25 years old, and he's a active man and he likes to keep fit, and he rides his bike a couple of times a week to the local gym and pumps iron.
Yeah, so Mike's my older brother. He's 42 and he loves being out in community just like my little brother does. And as his sister, I know vaguely what he does. He volunteers at Christmas Tree Farm, sells his photography cards in local cafes. He is a beekeeper. He loves going to gigs with his friend who plays in a band. I reckon for the last 10 years, Mike's been volunteering with one of the CFAs locally.
Warren is a 49-year-old man and he is an artist. He also works as a volunteer at the Police Museum and the Police Academy. He also volunteers at the Salvation Army.
Mike loves music, all genres of music, but he has met someone who's a bass guitar player and he gets to go to her gigs. He gets to go with her friends and help them set up and attend the gig. He's even a bit of a groupie and helps stamp people as they arrive.
Sally was a neighbour of Cameron's and he introduced himself to all his neighbours close by, and he and Sally would have coffees together quite regularly, and Sally was one of the instigators, or the main instigator, of the Warrigal Arts and Farmers Market, and she invited Cameron to be involved with that as their ambassador and to help out on the day of the market and the street stalls that they had to promote it.
I think social inclusion is important for Brody because it's important for everybody to feel as if they belong in their community, that they're contributing, that they're valued, that they have meaning and purpose.
The number of people that Cameron has history with now, because he's lived in that area for 20 years, is enormous. And they know him, they know who he barracks for, what his passions are, and it's vital for all of us, not just Cameron.
I think social inclusion is important for Warren because he has experienced the other side of things where people just think he needs to be cared for and doesn't need anything apart from that. They see him just needing to be kept occupied. So I've seen that side. I've also seen the side where people have recognised his gifts and include those gifts and help him to contribute and therefore feel that sense of belonging.
So in regards to special groups for people with disability, we've personally found that has not worked at all for Brody. it's led to isolation, it's led to behavioural issues and a degradation of his life and well-being.
Special groups aren't a good fit for Harvey because he doesn't meet a huge variety of people there, and we really believe in social inclusion and for all its benefits.
What's the purpose of someone wanting to attend a special group for people with disability? And if it's real inclusion with community, then that group's not going to achieve that because that's an isolated group within the broader community. There's other opportunities and ways that people can build those relationships, and Mike's proven that that's possible.
Special groups didn't work for Cameron because he doesn't see himself as having a disability, and he didn't enjoy the companionship because they didn't share interests or passions.
Emily used to go to a day program many years ago. She wasn't supported in that program. She had clashes with other students, and she wasn't able to pursue her own interests and activities, and so it fell apart and she had to leave.
Special groups with people with a disability tend to be classified as a group. You don't notice the people as individuals, and people tend to talk only to the carer and not to the people themselves. So they lose that independence and individuality.
So the key things that I'd focus on when helping Brodie be involved in his community would be that it's revolving around his personal interests.
An area that he's passionate about.
The main thing is that we had the supports around him at the time.
Giving up some of my role as a mum.
We look for opportunities where he can develop more relationships.
An ordinary path.
And to be treated like everybody else.
To help Mike become included in community, we first had to understand what that actually meant, and we had support to do that and to unpack those conversations about what Mike's strengths are and how we can find roles where he's valued in community.
One of the important things to look for, to overcome, I guess, is that first rejection. So when we had a first rejection from going to work for the police, we didn't stop there. We looked for a different way in, a different door, a different way, another champion.
So people in the community can best welcome someone with a disability by finding out what interests them and helping talk about those things, find common ground, just as you would anyone else.
The best way to welcome Emily in the community is to treat her like anybody else, and that's all she asks for.
Just to spend time getting to know them and get to know them as a person, and then you could both win with a friendship potentially out of that.
Probably the main benefit that Brodie's got from being involved in his local community has been friendships, and these are long-standing, even beyond the role.
He feels valued, he feels part of, included in his community. He enjoys sharing his interests with other people in the community.
Yeah, so Harvey gets to be out in the community and mix with a variety of people and be with people with common interests. And sometimes when you have common interests, that can lead to the development of relationships.
The benefits for Emily to be involved in her community is that she's known, that she's respected, that she feels valued.
It gives Diane the advantage of being able to socialise with lots of different people in her community. It also means that she feels an equal. It also keeps her safe because she's around people that know her, and people keep other people safe.
One benefit of Mike being included in community is he's forming his own 6 degrees of separation with people, and you don't get that in group programs. So Mike met this beekeeper. Later on, I did a permaculture course, met the person who we realised was already friends with Mike, and now we both independently have a friendship with this one individual.
I think the benefits for Warren being included in community has made him more confident. He knows who he is, he knows what he brings to the community, and that gives him that sense of belonging.
Graphic text. We also interviewed people with developmental disabilities about community. Please watch our series, Our Views Matter. www.talksthatmatter.net/Our Views Matter. Logos, Talks That Matter. Closing slide graphic text. With thanks to Nada O'Dwyer, Maggie Skinner, Justine Hall, Jane Raymond, Jackie Holmes, Anita O'Brien, Fiona Reed. This video was made possible with the support of an Information and Capacity Building grant through the Department of Social Services. Produced by Belonging Matters. Belonging Matters makes every effort to provide accurate and up-to-date material. However, information is subject to change and our materials for reference only. This video was produced on the land of the Wurundjeri, Wurrung and Bunurong peoples of the East Kulin Nation. Logos, Belonging Matters and TalksThatMatter.net.